The crux of this lawsuit is this. The SEC alleges that Elon Musk made false and misleading tweets in August where he said he's considering taking Tesla private at $420 and that funding was secured. The SEC says in its claim that investors who purchased Tesla stock after those tweets, but before accurate information was disseminated, were harmed. The SEC says Musk had not secured an agreement from any potential funding source. Tesla plummeted in the aftermarket, still down this morning when the SEC's lawsuit was revealed. The agency is seeking to ban Musk from serving as an executive or director of a publicly traded company, and that could, of course, affect his role as the head of Tesla. Now, Musk said in a statement that the action by the SEC leaves him deeply saddened and disappointed, adding that he has always taken action in the best interests of truth, transparency, and investors. Musk says integrity is the most important value in his life, and the facts will show that he never compromised this in any way. Now, the claim details a TikTok of events. It reveals conversations with a sovereign investment fund, which we know to be Saudi Arabia, and a private equity firm where high-level take-private discussions were had, but were void of any details. The SEC says in the claim that Musk did not discuss the tweets with anyone else, his board, employees, advisors, or even the NASDAQ, where Tesla's shares are listed, before publishing them to his 22 million followers, guys.
Okay, Leslie, thank you for that. And to put just a little bit of context around some of this, because I spent last night on the phones with a number of sources involved in this situation, and I can tell you that the sources tell us that actually a settlement was literally ready to go yesterday morning for both sides. It included what was described as a no admit, no deny. So he would not have had to accept any guilt in this at all. There would have been no penalty beyond a financial penalty. I'm told that the penalty was described as nominal. It was a penalty that would have gone to him as well as to Tesla, the company, and that he woke up in the morning. The plan was to sign the settlement, and he said to the team, or however it happened, that he felt that if he did that, he wouldn't be truthful to himself, and that he could not live with the idea effectively, if you will, that he would be settling something and accepting whatever you think is the taint of a settlement like that.
Did that part of the settlement call for him to step down as an officer?
It did not.
So now this is why the SEC is out for blood.
Yes. So what they were told in the morning yesterday that the settlement was going to be reached, then it wasn't, and then there apparently was some discussions that the SEC was going to move ahead with this. Having said that, I think it's just worth noting what this means to Tesla shareholders, because there was an opportunity for them to put this behind them yesterday. It would have gone away completely. Yeah. It would have made it very difficult, by the way, and challenging for shareholders to bring a suit against Tesla, because the class action suit, there would not have been a guilty, there would have not been an acceptance of guilt, which would have created an additional liability for the company. So this is really, and I've known Elon Musk for a very long time, so I understand, though I know a lot of people say they don't understand it, I understand his sense of truth, and he truly believes that he was doing the right thing. I appreciate that perspective, but at the same time, I think it is almost impossible not to say that this was a mistake. At minimum, what he did was a mistake. And the other thing that's so complicated about the situation, the standard here for this particular case is not about his true intent. That's not the standard. The standard is whether he was reckless.
Right.
And naivete. Even if you say that he had meetings with these people and thought that there was a good chance that it was going to happen, you can still say, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done it, I thought this was going to happen.
And now, excuse in this makes him sound like you're an idiot.
And now I think to some degree it's put the company in peril. Mind you, by the way, SpaceX, at some point in life, you might imagine, would want to become a public company. That creates a problem. There are going to be institutional investors that have wanted, or that you would imagine he would have wanted to bring into the Boring Company, another private company now, that I think that makes it more complicated. All of this complicates things, so it's very interesting to see and to try to understand how we got to this place.
I also think this is a series of bad judgments, is probably the best that you can say about this. Right. A series of bad judgments, including the idea that at Solar City, there were several SEC investigations that were never made public to investors, even when the company was being bought by Tesla, being brought under the Tesla wing. I mean, there are a series of situations where you can look and say, this is questionable judgment at best. The idea that he has never admitted he's made a mistake along the way, I think the best thing you can say about him at that point is that's a lack of judgment and naivete and idiocy.
The other thing is just to put a finer point on it, there is evidence, and he emailed with the Wall Street Journal, I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago, and explained why he thought that funding was secured and talked about this idea that he plays the odds, and when something's more than 50%, all of that just goes into this idea of, at minimum, you could just say, look, it was a mistake, but others would look at that and say it's reckless, forgetting about the intent, whether he was really trying to hurt the shorts or not. Let's take it on face value that he didn't want to do that, if you want to believe that. But the other piece of it just makes it very difficult and complicated.